Hey guys, James here with Waterford Business Solutions. Coming at you today with, once again, a really fun, really important topic when it comes to accounting, and actually one that we really love working with clients on, which is what to worry about or what to do when you're just starting your business. What do we need to think about and worry about in accounting and in your finances when you're just starting out your business? And quite frankly, it's a major one because, contrary to what a lot of businesses do, we have to take the time from the get go to at least do a modicum of accounting. We may not need to be as specific, we may not need to be as detailed as we would have been in other areas or as you grow your business, but we still need to have a decent accounting basis so that at the end of the year you are ready to, at minimum, file your taxes. Now, overall, that first year, it's going to be just that. Your accounting, your financial setup is really going to be more focused on getting your taxes filed at the end of the year. But that's what we're going to talk about this week, so join me as we jump in there. Before we do that, I want to invite you to go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. Go ahead and turn on notifications to get videos just like this, or share this video with anyone that you think is starting a business, anyone that you think could use this information. This is definitely a great area to start, and something that unfortunately a lot of entrepreneurs kind of back burner. They worry about getting the business started in the first place, and they don't worry about getting the business just set up financially to see everything, and it creates a lot of different issues ultimately in the long run and creates a bigger headache. So go ahead, share this with whoever you think needs to have it, make comments, ask questions. Any interaction that you provide with this video helps it to engage and helps it to reach more people. Now, like I was saying, many entrepreneurs, they really don't focus on this, and it's sad because at the end of the year, when it comes time for taxes, they're not ready, they don't have anything together. It makes their first business tax season a lot more difficult. It makes getting the taxes done more difficult. They also don't know what they owe because they don't know their profit. They haven't been looking at everything throughout the year. So when we get to the end of the year, they get huge surprise tax bills and they get scared. And that's the last thing that we want to do, because ultimately any business has a very strong chance of failing in the first 3 years. Understanding your finances and preparing for taxes and everything like that is a huge way to avoid that failure in the first 3 years. And that's exactly what we want to work with you to avoid here, is basically making sure that you are set up for the most success that you can be to avoid any type of scare or financial issues with the startup of your business. Now, from a tax and from a setup perspective, the first thing that we're going to want to do is make sure as soon as you're ready to start a business, whether you've got an EIN or not already, as soon as you're ready to start a business, let's go get business-specific bank accounts. Ultimately, this is going to help protect you from a tax purpose where we've got a separate business account from personal account. So if you ever get audited for that first year, everything's cleaner there. It's going to make running the business easier so that we're not intermixing money, and that way you understand exactly how much money you can or can't take out of the business for personal use. Because unfortunately, a lot of businesses that I see fail in their first 3 years, they're failing because the owners are drawing too much money out of the business to allow the business to survive. So by having that separate account, we can understand how much money we need to have in the first place to keep the business running, and only draw a modicum or a little bit here and there for you on taking care of your personal needs and everything. So that separate business bank account at minimum, super, super vital. Now, I would also say go and try to get a separate business credit card. Now, a lot of times if you're a brand new business or you've never done anything in entrepreneurship before, it's going to be hard to go get a business credit card. You're not going to be able to go to Chase and get a Chase Ink card or anything like that your first few months of operation, maybe even your first year or two. So typically, you're either going to have to use the debit card, which is not exactly something we normally want to do, or you'll need to work with a bank that you already have a relationship with to get a credit card. So go to Bank of America, go to anything there to go ahead and get a card. Local credit unions, Wells Fargo, something like that, where you might have a business bank account with them, and so they'll also let you go ahead and get a business credit card with them. That's going to be the best way to get a credit card, and again, that's just helping to keep your business versus personal expenses separate. This is going to long-term help you for legal purposes, long-term help you for tax purposes, a lot of different reasons that we want to do this. Now, as far as the actual accounting side of everything, it doesn't hurt to pretty quickly sit down and talk with a CPA. You're not, or even an EA, a tax accountant, someone, you don't have to use a CPA. You're not per se hiring this person to start doing the books for you. You just want a 1 hour meeting. Let's do a little bit longer than a minute. You're not going to get enough information there, but a 1 hour meeting with them to kind of get an idea of, hey, I'm doing this, how is it going to affect me tax-wise? And most of the time, quite frankly, I'll give you a 5-minute overview of it. From a tax perspective, again, we need those separate bank accounts. We're going to end up having taxes on the income that the business makes, so we need to know what the profit of that business is at the end of the year so that we can file the taxes. Most businesses that are starting out are going to start out as either a sole proprietorship, partnership, or an LLC. So you're going to have, in addition to income taxes, self-employment taxes. So you're going to have some additional taxes there on top of everything. Depending on your state, you may have some other regulations. If you're looking to have payroll or something there, we might have some stuff there where we have to set up some payroll accounts with the federal government, with the state government, unemployment accounts, withholding accounts, different things there to help you out with understanding everything and running payroll if that's going to be what you're starting doing. I could give you a ton of different overviews of this, but there's so many different scenarios based off of your state, based off of how you're running your business, based off of everything you're doing, that it's honestly better for you to just go ahead and speak with someone specific to you for your business startup. Now, in saying that, if you want to reach out to us and you're going through this, feel free to go ahead and reach out to us here at Waterford Business Solutions. Just go straight to our website, waterfordbusiness.com, and we'll be happy to do a startup accounting free consultation for you and help you out there. Now, beyond that, we need to get at least a minor accounting system set up. Like I said, at the end of the year, we're going to need to have an idea of what your net profit is. So throughout that year, we're going to need to know what you're selling versus what your expenses are. Now, we could do that super simple. If you're really just going to be small or you're starting towards the end of the year, just keep an Excel spreadsheet. Take your bank statement at the end of each month, just kind of say, oh, this is income, this is office supplies, this is job supplies, this is advertising, this is legal and professional fees, stuff like that, car and truck or auto expenses, different areas like that where we break everything down for you and get kind of an idea of where you're spending your money. And Excel is great for either smaller businesses that may only have probably less than about 30 to 50 transactions a month, especially for like the first year. Probably don't want to do that going forward. Or if you're getting started kind of October, November, December, also not a bad thing to start there. At the end of the year, you just give that to your tax accountant. They're able to go through and enter that in on your tax return, and they're going to be able to say, okay, here's your profit versus your loss, your net income, your taxable income, everything like that, and work you through it. Otherwise, either you're going to have to pay that person at the end of the year to figure those numbers out for you, and it's going to take longer, it's going to be more expensive, and it's not going to be nearly as pretty because it's them taking a time when they're already busy, when they're already super rushed to do all this work for you. So definitely better for you to do it yourself. Now, ultimately, I'd prefer and I'd recommend that you go ahead and start looking into a program like QuickBooks or Xero, and use that as an actual accounting program, because long term, we want to set your business up for success. We want to be able to say, okay, here's our beginning basis, and be able to track everything kind of going on here, and be able to track all of the money going in and out, and be able to compare year over year. Because when we are doing your taxes, that's one thing, but when we're starting a business, we need to understand the financial health of your business. And in Excel, while it helps us get an idea of your net profit, it's a lot more difficult to understand the financial health of your business. Where are you overspending on? Where are you losing money? Are there areas we can cut expenses, etc.? And that's where these accounting programs and platforms come in, is using those will help you to get a understanding of that financial health there. So super, super important to take a look at and work there. Personally, I think QuickBooks does a decent job. You can also, if you really don't want to do it yourself, and I don't recommend this long term, but at least to get you started, use QuickBooks Live Bookkeeper. It's a good, inexpensive option to get an okay breakdown of your income and expenses. It's not going to work long term if you are using integrations or anything like that, but it will work to at least take your bank statement and break it down, and then you're not even having to think about it. So definitely something to potentially consider there. I really wouldn't use it much past your first year, maybe 2 years, but once we kind of get into year 3, etc., we can move on to hopefully your business has grown enough to support actually having someone assisting you with the accounting needs and everything there. I would also recommend take some time. So many entrepreneurs, especially when they're just starting, push accounting and push the function of their finances to the wayside. They table it. They're like, oh, I'll worry about that at the end of the year. They don't think about it. And ultimately, it comes back regularly to bite them in the butt. They don't understand how their business is performing. They don't understand how they can be making money or why they don't have money. They don't understand why they're owing taxes. They're paying more in taxes because they're not prepared to file in a timely manner, and they're not paying in estimated tax payments. So take some time to use free resources. Use YouTube. Take a look at our channel. Take a look at other channels, and try to get a little bit of an understanding of what a minimum look on startup accounting or business accounting is going to look like. Get a minimum look of everything kind of going on in your books, how to use QuickBooks or how to use Xero, whatever accounting system you decide to use there, so that you have the ability to work in it. Long term, especially if your business grows, we're going to want to flesh those out to get certain KPIs. We work predominantly with contractors here, so we want to make sure that we've got the financial setup to understand where material spend is, where labor spend is, where advertising spend is, how much we're making per employee, everything like that. We want to make sure our financials are long-term set up for that. When a client's just starting, typically they're starting as a one-man show, so it's not as vital to do that. But the goal is within 2, maybe 3 years that they've got hopefully at least another truck on the road, maybe 3, 5, or 10 trucks. So we've got to make sure that we start with a solid basis to get that information for them. The other thing to look at is going to be what integrations are you going to potentially use. Accounting is one thing, but you've also got to think long term. How am I going to run my business? So again, we work predominantly with contractors. You can't really use QuickBooks to run your business. It's not going to allow you to schedule jobs. It's not going to allow you to communicate easily with customers. QuickBooks is designed to track your finances, send invoices, and receive payment. It's not designed for scheduling. It's not designed for dispatching. It's not designed for customer communication. That's not what it's for. So maybe for a business just starting out, QuickBooks is fine, But long term, if we get 2 trucks on the road or 3 trucks on the road, we've got to look at integrating with the dispatch system. So we've got to look at something like House Call Pro, Jobber, Service Titan, ServiceMate, Notify, Builder Trend, something like that, where they can do all of that. And so you've got to make sure that you also take the time to understand the pros and cons of those potential integrations, how they're going to integrate, because if you just try to force it to integrate, it's not going to work. So you've got to, from the beginning, have at least a little bit of an idea of what is your 3-year plan, what is your 5-year plan, so that we can make sure what you set up here on year 1, day 1, will be able to grow with you to year 3, year 5, year 10. But the biggest thing that I can say is for the first year, just focus on at minimum knowing where your money's going, how much money you're bringing in, where you're spending your money, so that at the end of the year, it's super quick and super easy for you to file taxes. So often I have clients come to me that they've been in business for 2 or 3 or 4 years and they've never filed their tax return for the business, and they've got profits, they've got taxes that they've owed for 3 or 4 or 5 years, and they owe a ton of penalties and interest on that. So they're paying 10-20% more in taxes than what they should have paid in the first place if they had had their finances in order in the first place. Taxes are never a pretty thing. It's never something we like to talk about. It's never something we want to do. But taxes are a necessary evil. So we have to make sure that we are preparing for them and to pay them. As always, guys, thanks for joining me today. I hope you found this informational. Like I said at the beginning, if you found this useful, go ahead and send this to someone that you think could use it. Subscribe or check out the rest of the videos on our YouTube channel, because they go over a lot of the stuff that I talked about in here. Estimating taxes, figuring out how to use QuickBooks, figuring out some of these integrations, things like that. And if you're looking to start a business or anything there, and feel like you need help or feel like you want that intro there, let's go ahead and give us a call if you want to. We work all over the U.S. We work with a ton of contractors, but we work with a lot of different businesses too. So I'm not afraid to help you get a good solid foot under yourself to start your business. You can reach out to us at waterfordbusiness.com, email us at info@waterfordbusiness.com, or give us a call at 864-351-0852. Until next week, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day.